gentlemen, your attention one more time, please. If you speak English, you stay on this bus, alright? Les gens qui parlent français, je vous ai dit que vous allez changer de bus, vous allez le faire dans quelques petites segundos. Y las personas que hablan español os dice que iba a cambiar de autobús, lo van a hacer también en algunos segundos, ¿está bien? Me van a seguir todos. Vous allez... Ah oui, la donne sur la carte. Lasciami non io. La mia fora. Activities in Santorini, you visit those two islands. One of them, the smallest, called Baia Carmeli. That's where the hot springs are located. And the largest of the two is the one you can visit. There is a guide on the boat with you to do that. You have to hike for about 30 minutes to reach the top. And on top you see two craters that were exactly in the center of the caldera, a volcano that will look like a mountain. We will talk about the volcanic history of Santorini when we go to the archaeological site. I will give you some background information for you to be able to visit and enjoy the archaeological site with Mr. Miklos, one of the most experienced guides working at the site, as he's been doing visits for about 30 years now, and you will be with him for the site. So we'll talk about this in detail later on. I just wanted you to have an overview of the archipelago of Santorini that belongs to a specific group of Greek islands called the Cyclades. And the Cyclades are the most famous and visited islands here in Greece by tourists. For example, Santorini, number one. Number two would be Mykonos. Then you have others, Paros, Naxos, Ilios, etc. 37 in total. And the Cyclades are the islands forming a circle around the ancient island of Dinos, located next to Mykonos. So all the islands forming a circle around that one. It was a very important island, a sacred island in ancient Greece. They belong to that group, to the Cyclades. Have you visited other Greek islands? Yes? Do you remember the names? Mykonos, of course. You went to party, right? You know that most Greeks would not go to Mykonos because first, it's extremely expensive if you're Greek. Mykonos and Santorini are among the most expensive islands in Greece. And Greeks prefer to go to islands that are a bit more traditional, cheaper, with nice beaches to be able to enjoy the summer. So they would go, for example, to Zakynthos, they would go to Crete, among other islands. Have you been to other islands besides Mykonos? To Crete, you will love Crete. Crete is the largest island of all. It's about 200 kilometers from one side to the other. Plenty of things to do. You have a bit of everything. History, very nice beaches, great food, great wine, great people. I'm sure that you will have a great time tour. But if you have more time on the island and you would like to do another traditional village besides the village we're going to do together in the afternoon, I highly recommend this one. Even though it's more difficult, it's going uphill the entire time. There's some steps here and there, but it's worth it. I would do it either early in the morning before cruise ships or at the end of the afternoon, and I would stay there for sunset. Most people don't know that. Everybody is rushing to Oya or to other parts of the cliffside that are still quite busy, even though it's the end of September. There's also a lot of cruise ships coming in the afternoon with hundreds, if not thousands of people for the sunset, so it can be very busy. And this is an off-beaten path spot, Pyrgos. You can see it's the highest village we have in Santorini. And can you see the church that is up there? We can see a white dome and a bell tower. Opposite that church, there is a coffee shop called Franco's Bar. Only a few tables, and you can be there sipping a glass of wine, for example, or anything else you like. And you see all of Santorini from up there. Everything, because it's the highest spot. That means that you don't see only a tiny part of Santorini and the sunset in a tiny part of Santorini. You see the entire archipelago, all of it from north to south, and you see the colors changing all over the archipelago. So it is a very nice thing to do. If you want to do something different than most tourists, I highly recommend Pyrgos. You can come with the local bus, you can come with the taxi, depends on where you are located on the island. A lot of people also rent a car or an ATV after doing the tour so that they have a better idea of what Santorini is, and sometimes they go back to some of the places we visited together. You can also do that. But if you would like to take the local bus, let me tell you quickly how it works. Very simple. You find the bus you want. The name is always written on the windshield of the bus, the destination, and you cannot find the tickets out. The tickets are bought on the bus, directly on the bus. So you hop on the bus, you sit somewhere, and someone will pass to collect the money and to give you a ticket. All the tickets well, not all, but 95% of the tickets on the island are under €2 per person. It's really the cheapest way for you to go around if you want. And this is where the local bus would be stopping, right here where you see the girls waiting with the suitcases. And that is the beginning of the town, the small town of Pirgos. So in less than a minute now, you will see all of Santorini slowly. Let me just explain you a few more things that I forgot to do right in the morning, so that we are all on the same page and everybody can enjoy the tour the same way. And now on the bus, if you want to keep the same seats from now on, you can, not an issue, but if I were you, to avoid possible issues every time we get on and off the bus, and wars and blood, you have no idea what can happen on the bus. People will kill each other for seats sometimes for absolutely no reason. To avoid that, leave something on the seats, a piece of paper, whatever. You can leave belongings on the bus. This way you remember where you sit. The other passengers will also know which seats are taken, and we avoid all these issues. And of course, the times I'm going to give you from now on at every stop, they must be respected by all of you as you are part of the group. And I want all of you to enjoy and all of you to have enough time at all the stops to do that. That's only possible if everybody cooperates and everybody is respectful. So those are really the basics for everybody to have a good time. And because it's only English, in case you have any question on the bus related to what I'm talking about, you can ask on the bus, since you all understand English. If not, out of the bus, you can ask me all the questions you want. That's what I'm here for. Don't worry about that. There's no stupid questions. You can ask everything you want. I will answer all the questions. So now that we go up the mountain, I also wanted you to know that this mountain is one of the few parts of Santorini that is not of volcanic origin. And you can tell just by looking at the color of the rocks, you can tell that those are not volcanic rocks. The mountain is composed of limestone and schist. And you can see a lot of natural caves. If you look on the left, for example, there's hundreds of them everywhere in Santorini, on the mountain, on the cliffside. That's where a lot of Santorinians over the centuries found refuge when they were under attack, for example, at the time of the pirates, and we will talk about that later on. On the right, you can also see the old paths that for many years were the only means of communication between villages, so on foot or with donkeys. And you see terraces as well, a lot of them. And all the terraces you see on your right are man-made. They are not natural. They are man-made because when people were still farmers, they were cultivating a lot of things on the mountain slopes. For example, vines or even tomatoes. So those are all man-made. And on your right, you see the outer part of the island. If you can see the map that is above my head, it's all this. On the right is the outer part, so it's a lot of black sand beaches, and the inner part is the cliffside that you will see later on as well. Maybe you have also noticed a lot of prickly pear cactuses in Santorini. Those are very typical in the Mediterranean, not only here. Here some people will eat the fruit. I don't like the fruit very much, to be honest, but some smarter people will use the fruit to make a delicious liqueur. It's one of the best on this island. If you find it in shops, traditional shops, it's coming in small bottles, about 100 or 200 ml. It's completely orange. You recognize it by the color the moment you see the bottle. And it's always written in English, prickly pear liqueur. It's delicious, one of the best produced on this island. In case you don't know what prickly pear cactuses are, you will see a few now in the next turn, either on your left or on your right. You can even see the fruit, the tiny fruit. You see? Prickly pears. That's what they are. And now everybody has to look left. Open the curtains, open your eyes. In case you are sitting on my side of the bus, don't worry, on the way down you will see the same thing. So right there, you see the south tip of the main island. That's the Atlantidi region where we go for the archaeological site. Further right, you see the tiny rock, Asproni Sea, the whitish island that is not inhabited. And in a few more seconds, after the last trees, you will see the two volcanic islands you can visit with the boats, and behind them the island of Thirsia, the one that is inhabited by about 120 people, I would say, at the moment. steps to go to the village of Manolas, what people never do, right there.
Yeah, don't mind that.
And in the last turn, you will see the rest of the main island, including the north tip of Ia, where you go for the sunset later on. All of Santorini is on your left now. Look at it, how beautiful it is. You like it today, the weather is perfect. We see other islands, we see Ios over there, we see Folegandros, we see Anidros over there, you also see Anafi on the other side, we'll see part of it when we stop the bus.